We should start the
You guys
podcast.
bait me
That's
every
fine.
time.
He's sloshing in the background, so.
If we don't want to lose battery. Oh! Party wolf!
Go ahead and say Kobe. Too soon.
Kobe! Oh, I'm going to be... I was doing that before he died. I'm doing that after he died.
Oh, man. Oh, no, I am.
Welcome to the Epic Movie Podcast.
He's a terrible guy.
I'm your host, Dylan
He admitted to
Camacho.
cheating on his wife.
Okay,
Sorry.
stop. I'm your only host today, Dylan Camacho. This side of the table's canceled. I have Nathan with me. This whole podcast is sponsored by Winto Greens. Or Timberwolf, whatever. I'm not sure what.
Timberwolf.
We're trying to figure out what the smell is in here. Maybe soon you'll get smell-o-vision by the time this video comes up.
Yeah.
Anyway, guys,
I'll just bring Jill when doing that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just bring... This isn't what we're here to talk about.
Can we restart?
I don't get it.
No, guys, let's talk about the movie that we watched.
Let's talk about the movie that we're talking about.
Hey, make some more inappropriate comments on get us
I would
canceled.
love to.
The Departed.
Thank you.
Today, we are discussing The Departed.
He's in
This
host mode.
continues our Leonardo
Stands way.
DiCaprio month. And this movie is about basically gangsters. Kind of.
Yes and no.
That's how it's.
It has
It's
built and
like-
present.
it's
I would
a
say,
gang, for
yeah,
sure.
I would say
It
it's a
is some
cat and
kind of
mouse game
gang.
between two people who are both undercover. One is undercover for the cops working in the mafia, and then the other one is undercover for the mafia working in the cops. Fun, right? And then the cat and mouse game is who figuring out who's the rat for each other and trying to get each other, and then Mark Wahlberg kills everybody at the end. Well, not everybody, just Matt Damon. Spoilers, in case you don't know, for whatever reason, you're still watching these videos and you don't know. We're always full spoilers.
All the time.
Let's get into the movie, guys. So that's gonna sum it up on that one, since Nathan's full host today. So, and I'm doing summaries.
He's getting us back on track.
Yeah. I'm gonna leap right into this one, guys. So this movie, I enjoy the cat and mouse game and that whole presentation of it, but there's some parts that tonally this movie kind of fluctuates with his characters. When Jack Nicholson's on screen, Jack Nicholson just seems a little too eccentric. For a lot of time, he's fine, but there are sometimes he's a little extra for me, and I think that he's just being a little bit much. Or when Mark Wahlberg's character is on here, it just seems like he's like, they wrote a character for a different movie, watch the other guys, and then they were like, all right, yeah, play that exactly. But the tone never changes for this film.
So Jack Nicholson is the same in every movie he's ever in. If you've ever seen Anger Management, if you've ever seen The Shining, he gets to a level of Jack Nicholson, and that is how he is in this movie the entire time. I will agree, he is eccentric, but he is no more eccentric in this movie than he is in literally anything else he's ever done.
Yeah, and I'm not saying that he isn't, but in the tone of the movie where I have Matt Damon being, like serious tone Matt Damon, and everybody else is being pretty by the books, like I would expect like a cop Boston movie to kind of play out. You just have like random scenes of Jack Nicholson doing coke with what it presumably is two random women. Yeah,
some
like
lady
they
or
kind of just
mistress.
embellish it, and it's probably part of the contract. He's like, yeah, I'll come in, but I want to, do doing the
Oh,
coke. like,
so this was Jack Nicholson's request.
yeah.
He wants to do
Like,
this stuff.
that's the only thing that makes sense for me, because I'm like, all right, well, Scorsese does this, and I'm like, well, we have a Scorsese movie, and then here's Jack Nicholson's movie for a little bit, and then it's back to Scorsese's flick. Like,
I feel like I want to be the one defending this movie the whole time. Whatever accusations get levied at it, I want to be coming back, because I think that's important to Jack Nicholson's character, and I think it's fitting with his character, and I was totally fine with it, because his whole thing is about him being larger than life. Like one of the very first scenes you see is that flashback to when Matt Damon is a little kid in the shop, and Jack Nicholson just comes in there and just steamrolls the shop owners, like, hey little girl, you got your period yet? And like just steamrolled everybody. And Matt Damon's character's like, he can talk like that? He can do that? And then he's like, oh yeah, you're so-and-so's boy. Like, take this, like all the food. And it's just like to show Matt Damon, like, this is like what life can be like if you just like are assertive and just like do whatever you want. And Jack Nicholson literally does whatever he wants with whatever character is in the frame, like whoever it is.
Yeah.
So I
think
thought that was good.
So much of it is just to make him seem dangerous and unpredictable.
Yeah, and threatening.
Like Joker-esque almost.
Oh, absolutely.
yeah, you could tell that this was so much, like, not necessarily homage, but inspired by, like, some 1990, like Nicholson Joker with that. Like, just his gangster part. Like, not the full-on eccentric thing, but they wanted to meet, like, a middle ground.
Because that's so it's so threatening. Because one of, like, I love this entire movie, but a scene I really liked was when Jack Nicholson knew there was a rat, and Jack Nicholson was sitting with Leo at the table, and they're, like, talking, and, like, you can see, like, DiCaprio's like, he has no idea what Jack Nicholson's thinking, and he's, like, freaking out internally, and, like, you can see that portrayed by him. And, like, you feel, like, his plight because Jack Nicholson, you know everything about him. Like, I really have no idea what he knows. Yeah. I don't know what he knows, what he doesn't know. And that
or what he's about to do.
Or what he's about to do. Because he's, like, isn't he, like, covered in blood? Or does he have blood on his hands at that point?
Not that one. That was right after.
That was after when he was like, you need to leave. Like,
right. That was the very next bar scene that they're all in. But, yeah.
I just remember having blood on him a lot.
There's a big talk with him in, like, the restaurant right beforehand that, he shoots the owner off. But... yeah, here's my thing with it. I like Jack's performance fine enough. I think sometimes his character doesn't fit the tone of the movie. Like, he goes a little bit more than it should. But then there are moments where I know Jack Nicholson's character is supposed to kind of have that unpredictable, like, fear-mongering part. But for me, I always felt that more from the other side's performance. And often it's Leonardo DiCaprio's character. I always felt it way more from Leo's thing. I'm like, see, I'm scared because Leo's performance is putting on, not because Jack Nicholson. Like, I never felt particularly threatened by him. I felt like he was always one step ahead of most people, but never, like, over the top, like, I don't know, like Kingpin from Daredevil. Like, he was just going to be unhinged and just start tearing people up in the middle of the scene.
Slamming their head in a door.
Right.
I still remember that.
Yeah.
Man.
I don't know.
And that was Daredevil, sorry.
Yeah. Go check out Daredevil Season 1.
Really good.
Really good.
And Season 2.
And Season 3.
Especially Season 3. But anyway, we're not here to talk about TV.
Yeah. I want to.
I mean, most of the characters in this movie have such a threatening air to them the entire time. Like, every one of them is just like, they could just kill somebody at most any moment. Every one of them has that feel about them, which makes it all the weirder that so many of them are cops.
Yeah. Literally everyone in this movie is essentially a cop. To some degree, or some kind
even
of
Jack Nicholson supposedly works with
FBI,
the FBI
informer. Yeah.
Like, that was the thing where whenever that was revealed, it's like, I don't know how I feel about this, because I can't imagine the FBI letting somebody exist like
so
this.
High profile.
But it's like he's giving them so much that they're like, is that going to outweigh what he's doing bad? Like, I guess they thought, like, what he's giving us is, like, they're worse than what he's doing. Yeah. Like, their bad is like more than his bad.
I guess, but that seems silly because at that point he's very much in charge of, like, that Boston area. Like, they paint him to be, like, Boston's number one.
Oh, he is.
Yeah,
he's number one most wanted, but he's also, like, giving up as much as he's, like, getting away with.
Right. Like,
and the I don't know. It's strange because whenever you first are introduced to the idea that he's working for the FBI, the, like, response from, was it Leonardo that saw this first?
Yeah, Leo had gotten it first, and then Matt Damon finds it out like way later on the little notebook thing from
Bulldozer.
Yeah, so his response to it made it seem like he was just outright, like, also an undercover person working as the FBI.
Everybody's undercover in this whole movie.
There's so many people that are undercover, because there's a moment where it's like the guy that's about to die, and he's like, yeah, you know, whenever I called you, I gave you the wrong street address, but you ended up at the right place.
There.
I actually didn't notice that the first time. I remember thinking,
tell me why I didn't tell.
Yeah. He's like, because I was undercover.
Because we're all undercover.
Yeah.
Actually, every single one of us.
All of them.
Yeah. So I think the thing to really look at too is, like, the cast on this movie was outrageous. Like, you had, like, Alec Baldwin, you had Vera Farmiga, which I've never thought was super attractive. She was a treat in this movie.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Then you also had Anthony Anderson. Who was the main guy that got thrown off the building? Like, the main cop.
Martin Sheen,
captain.
That's before you go on with that list, and we were talking about characters. How did you all feel about his character? Because at the beginning, I was like, he is way too nice. They're doing the good cop, bad cop thing way too much. And then, like, it goes, like, finally when you go to his house and realize, like, how sweet, like, and stuff he actually is, like, I could see that. But at first, I was a little bit kind of turned off by it.
Nah.
I think that was, like, a turn of, like, how the police department used to be. And, like, as he's on his way out, like, all of these jackasses are kind of on the way in. So, like, he was probably the nice one, probably the last one. And then it sort of turns into, like, Mark Wahlberg's. He was much younger.
I'm just wondering if, like, if everybody's on board with, like, do this for me, son.
Yeah.
And he
yeah.
just met Leo.
Yeah.
It felt a little much.
Yeah, and
Right.
in that first scene too, what is it like the anger interpreter for Obama or something? That whole bit.
Oh,
with,
yeah.
Key. Is it Key?
Jordan Key.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, so that's what that felt like to me. It's like the
Yeah. Mark Wahlberg doing that for his character.
Martin Sheen's just sitting there, just being the nice guy. Meanwhile, behind him, he's got his anger interpreter, just like really pushing buttons.
I didn't think about that, but that's so true for that scene. It's just Mark Wahlberg. This little pussy over here.
Yeah.
You ain't a real cop. Are you a cop or are you trying to pretend to be a cop? Because there's plenty of people trying to pretend to be a cop on that one. Yeah.
I was infatuated every time. I love Mark Wahlberg's character. I get that, like, he's over the top. I totally get that. But I like he comes from a good place. Like when they suspend Mark Wahlberg, Alec Baldwin's like, he's gonna keep going anyway. Like he's gonna keep trying to.
Yeah, he's gonna keep doing it.
Yeah, so like his heart's in the right place. It's just he's just really over the top, and just the insults and like the banter is just amazing. Like between him and like Alec Baldwin, that one point it was like
that one was fine.
Like, how's your mom doing? I'm tired from fucking my father.
Yeah,
Something like that. I loved it.
Yeah, well, screw you. How's your I was busy screwing your wife. How's your mom? Oh, busy from screwing my father. Yeah, that was the only part of the banter that it felt natural. That I was like, okay, having a back and forth is one thing. Having him just being one way, I felt was a little much, even for me. Like in the tone of this movie. Like here's my big thing with it. In the tone of this movie, it's too much. But then you take that literally the same exact character and put him in the other guys, and it's perfect for like.
Well, it's comedy.
Right. That's my point, though, is that it almost comes off comedic, and maybe because Other Guys is like literally probably one of my top 3 favorite comedies. Seeing that character back to back, but then in a serious movie, it was just my brain was not wanting to accept it.
Yeah. See, you gotta like.
I don't think I consider this too serious of a movie either.
What?
Like it's got a lot of.
What about the ending? That's all serious.
Oh, yeah,
That's
sure.
like,
well, yeah,
but like, there's a lot of comedic moments to it. A lot of big characters. Like it seems very hyperbolic for much of it. Like everybody's over the tops, and it just makes it seem not as real.
The only other like I shouldn't say huge issue, but one point to really draw out is like the music mixing in this movie was high. Like, what's that one song that they played like 2 or 3 times?
Oh, the Boston one.
The Dropkick Murphys.
Yeah, Dropkick
Whatever that
Murphys,
is.
right.
Dude, it would be like a regular dialogue part, and then it would be like, and just like oh my god, I had to turn the damn TV down. I don't need to be riding in the battle when I'm watching this. I get it.
I
thought that by like the second, like the first time I played, I'm like,
twice.
okay, yeah. And then whenever they're in the car and it happens, I'm like, okay, this is a little much. So like, you just got right to the song, you just wanted to use it. Right.
I know it's like early 2000s, but dang.
Right.
Oh yeah, that song was probably
that one was
very
hype.
hot. I'm sure. It made me want to look for it afterwards. Like,
I
mean, that.
I've definitely heard that song a lot before, and I was happy to hear it
the first time.
Whenever it first came on, I was like, oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, like, kind of dates the movie a little bit, too.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, I just thought it was super loud. It could have definitely been taken down.
The mixing, absolutely. It was...
It's like they forgot to turn the notch whenever they were editing, and they were just like, that'll probably be okay.
They were editing
like
everybody's like spoken audio and everything like that.
Everybody else was at a 7, but the music was at a strong 9.
Way over here.
Yeah, it was a lot.
Yeah. And I'm gonna go along with the tone of the movie because I liked how realistic it seemed to be. Like when Matt Damon's girlfriend or whatever slept with Leonardo DiCaprio, and like it just never got brought up. Like that's how it happens in real life. Like sometimes that just happens. Like they'll step out on somebody and just never say it. Like that happens. In the way that Martin Sheen's character, like when they threw him off the building, and like you go to Leo's perspective, and he just falls and dies right in front of him. It's not slow mode. It's like nothing's cut short. Like that's just again how it would happen. Like it would just be that quick. And then of course the ending where like everybody's shooting everybody.
So
like, I really like that.
I think strangely enough, the 2 points that maybe get me the most in this movie is those 2 points you just brought up. The lady therapist part. Her whole role for this movie just feels extra.
It does.
And my like
it just brings them together.
Yeah, like she's very much a tool just to bring them have like a common thread, and 2 for her to be a confrontation tool for Matt Damon's character. And otherwise, I just feel like every other thing was kind of wasted on her. Maybe some humanization at the beginning to kind of give him some levity, because that little first date scene was a little fun back and forth.
Yeah,
I did like that, because most of the time, like, those kind of things like are real cringy, but like I actually liked them.
I thought they had good chemistry in that scene,
Yeah,
but
all three of them had good chemistry.
Right.
The other two.
Following the rest of the movie, her stuff with Leo at the beginning kind of irks me, because it's like, okay, yeah, we're doing this back and forth counseling stuff, and afterwards she's out there and she's like, hey, I actually care about my job, fucko. And he's like, cool, I'm gonna go get coffee. And I'm like,
Yes.
what the fuck? So that whole every
It's that kind of intense energy.
Yeah.
that
No,
works
no.
with some.
Who's
some.
yeah,
who's
well,
the director? Martin
Scorsese.
Okay,
Yeah.
Scorsese basically gives you all of these just lines, and essentially, like, they're all intertwined together. That was just another line for me, because
Yeah.
the therapist girlfriend, like, I don't. For her to end up with Leonardo DiCaprio, it was just that much of you sitting in front of the television. Like, why don't they know each other yet? Like, why haven't they seen a cell phone message? Like, why don't they know each other at this point in the movie yet?
Because they don't have a real relationship.
And I get it.
Like,
but,
that's why, like,
but
they're not
he
gonna
is
bring it
kinda-
up.
It's like a punching bag. Like, he just keeps hitting this bag, and it's just, it's like, I don't know.
It does feel like there's points where they meet each other where it's like you're almost thinking like, all right, is the other guy going to show up?
Right.
Yeah.
Like,
And they even mentioned, like, even in that scene where Leo and her having, like, a little dinner thing, he's like, what would happen if your boyfriend showed up right now?
Yeah.
You know, like, you know, she's like, oh, I'd lie. Like,
Yeah,
Yeah.
I would just lie through this.
See, like, I think she's really important because it gives, like, those characters a chance to, like, voice their thoughts, which I think is very important. And the therapist also, like, gives an insight into Matt Damon's personal life. Like, if it was just Matt Damon walking around being like, oh, I'm fine being an undercover rat or whatever, like, I'm good doing all this, but, like, he's, like, actually having real problems. Like, like, he's so, like, she was like, you want to talk about the fact you can't get it up? Like it's fine. A lot of guys do that, but he's just got so much stress, and, like, that's an important part.
Jack Nicholson all the time.
Right.
Yeah.
I guess necessarily my problem isn't her part in the movie, because I think as, like, a tool for this movie and the stuff that she does, exactly your point, giving those humanizing moments to both of them, I think she does that well. But I think for her character development and, like, her story in the scheme of things, I'm like,
Her story's inconsequential.
yeah,
hers as a person.
These moments all kind of, inconsequential, but also kind of just seemed a little forced. Like, we're forced to get her to get these moments, and I'm like, I don't know. I think this could be done in a different way without just introducing another character for the sake of these two characters to have a middle ground.
See, I feel like besides, like, doing, like, an exposition dump, like how they do, like, there's two ways you can go about, like, voicing their inner thoughts well.
Mm-hmm.
You can either do it terribly, I think, like they do in Silent Hill, when, like, they have that flashback and have that exposition dump for, like, 30 minutes.
Don't know why you gotta bring Silent Hill into this, but okay.
Because there's two ways to, like, deliver this kind of thing. You can do it either ham-fistedly by, like, outright telling the audience, or you can have, like, a surrogate in there who's, like, a person and, like, you can talk to and, like, voice those thoughts in a conversational way.
I felt targeted just like you did.
Yeah.
It was weird because I was on this side of it.
No, Bryce over
I'm
here
not
just, what were my friend's favorite movies to pick on this one? So,
No, I'm just
So
saying, like, I hated that when
No,
we
I
talked
get
about
that.
Silent Hill, but
Yeah,
go
I
ahead.
get
I
it.
agree that I think she did merit being in the movie. I don't
100%.
see that you take her out and the movie is gonna be like,
I
I,
don't
think
think
the
it's
movie's
better.
worse for
Yeah,
it,
it's definitely not better
honestly.
without her.
Because
in it.
I think she does a lot to be there to facilitate all those conversations and the building of these characters outside of the intensity that is what's going on in their lives otherwise.
I do think if we guys want to talk about the ending, because, like,
oh, please,
We
let's,
we
we're
definitely
getting
need
into
to.
the...
the best part about this movie, Nathan, you've never seen this movie.
No.
Dylan, you've never seen this movie.
That
Nope.
half of the table has it.
That ending, the first time you see it, did you expect it? Did you see it coming? Were you okay with it?
Are we talking strictly at Mark Wahlberg, or just from the whole
No,
scene
the
of
whole-
the
elevator.
Leo all the way
Yeah,
forward?
let's call it all of it.
Yeah.
And you can touch on the Mark Wahlberg.
So Leo
one
to
if you want.
Damon all the way to Wahlberg on this one as the ending
Yeah.
part of it. So the way that the Leo stuff played out, no, I didn't see that coming until, like, the door's opening. Like, I was like, okay, they're dragging on this scene for a little bit longer.
Something's gonna happen.
Something's gonna, you have that, like, impending doom feeling in it for him to get shot, and then everybody goes into the, like, how it does, and then
Well-
Matt Damon gets home and gets Wahlberged. Like, let me finish the thought.
No, there's the funeral scene, too.
Well, yeah, there's the whole
Yeah.
funeral scene in the middle. But here's my big problem with it, is that all I saw for this last, like, 10-15 minutes of the movie was that SNL skit,
Yes!
Dear Sister.
With the Shia
Yes,
LaBeouf.
yeah, it is exactly that, Dear Sister. And everybody comes in and they're all shooting each other, and it's
Yeah.
just a long series of betrayals where
No.
everybody's shooting everybody. Like,
Yeah.
Mason wants to pull it up right now, and I'm just like, whatever.
No. I just want you to know.
He's got a list of
You
his
put it in the
that
notes.
said
SNL skit with Shia LaBeouf. And
Yes,
Bill Hader.
that's exactly what it is. Like, verbatim. That's all I thought of it. And I'm like, I get it, but because that skit exists and this is exactly what I think it is, like, it really didn't make me feel well about the ending as it goes out. Like, it's not that I hated it. Like, Mark Wahlberg kind of getting sweet vengeance at the end was fine, but it just being a scene where it's like, oh, all right, I got Matt Damon. Pow. Yeah, don't worry, there's other ones. Pow. And then I'm going to go home. Pow. And I'm just like, this is too much. This is too much in such a short burst.
Killing each other.
Yeah.
And essentially all those people die anyway.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, and then if we go even extra 5 minutes before that, then we have Nicholson's character getting killed by Matt Damon, and then Mr. French just killing himself. Like, it just felt like bullets galore in this last 15 minutes of it.
Yeah, it was a lot.
Yeah.
Which
what
I
about
don't.
you, Nathan?
Yeah, you go ahead and then I'll go.
Well, I was just going to say that it'd probably be good to kind of walk through what happened because
I like it better this way.
in case anybody's never seen it.
Yeah.
So Matt Damon's character gets called to go onto the roof of where
the main detective, like the chief, had died.
What's his name?
Martin Sheen.
Martin Sheen.
Yeah.
Martin Sheen had been thrown off of that roof. He goes up there. Leonardo's waiting for him. Captures him, handcuffs him, basically like has got audio evidence of the fact that he's a rat and is going to get him in a lot of trouble, completely ruin his life. Cuts to taking him downstairs. A cadet that he went
Anthony
to school
Anderson.
with, yes, is there as Matt Damon's backup, I guess. And the guy basically lets Leo do what he wants to do. Cut to them going down the elevator. Door opens. Second rat.
Ooh, what you say?
Waiting there.
Actually, the door just opens and a gunshot happens. So
Yeah.
you don't see who it is.
At first.
And it's Jack Nicholson all along. That's all. That's
But yeah, so Leo's shot. And then
Matt Damon is still alive, and then Anthony Anderson comes out from like the second elevator.
Yeah.
And then he gets shot.
And then like there's just this weird like 3 seconds like stare off, and then the same guy shoots Anthony Anderson.
Yeah.
And then he's like, "Come on, Matt," whatever his character's name is. Like, it's me and you, buddy. It's just me and you till the end. We got to get the hell out of here.
Yeah.
We got to fabricate something. And then Matt Damon's like, "Okay, cool. Yeah, I'm cuffed."
Yeah.
Bang! He shoots the back.
Yeah, he's like got a cloth in his hand. He's like, "Oh, let me see the gun so he can wipe it off." Starts acting like he's gonna wipe it off. Shoots that guy.
Yeah.
And then it just rolls on from there
And,
to
Matt Damon comes home with bagels.
weeks later.
Yeah.
And there's the funeral first. Because
Yeah.
I think the funeral is important to mention because it makes it seem like Matt Damon gets away.
Well, and also he speaks lightly on Leonardo DiCaprio. Good to see
Caesar.
you. Leonardo DiCaprio's character, he does honor him. He does say this guy was killed in the line of duty. He was an undercover cop. It's tragic.
The badge of merit, or
he gets a certain honor.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then he gets home. And
And then, I do love how it's shot though. Like it's just feet covered and then zooming on up and it's just like Mark Wahlberg.
Kind of forgot that he was even in the movie for a minute.
No, for a minute I was like, are they gonna wrap with just leaving Mark Wahlberg doing nothing? And then I was like, oh, there he is. Like
I thought Vera Farmiga was gonna come back and do it because like she knew.
Yeah, and then she
didn't do
shoots Mark
anything.
Wahlberg.
Yeah.
And that's
That's the after scene credit that you guys didn't watch.
That's the post credits on
And-
that. Yeah.
And I love how Matt Damon, how he acts under pressure, like especially in the elevator scene, like where Leo's taking him down the elevator and it has that long shot of them going down. And first he's like, "You're going to regret this. I know like so many people. I'm going to tear you apart. Nobody's going to know you." And then like it shows the elevator keep going down and Matt Damon's like, "Oh crap! Like, I'm actually trapped right now."
Help,
and like his eyes turn like he's being like an
Yeah.
animal being trapped, and then he's just like, "Shoot me!" Just like I don't want to do this.
The core of the movie's performances between Matt Damon and Leo are very strong. Like anytime they're on screen, they both have that very magnetic personality. You're like, oh, I can't wait to see kind of how they're trying to out-trick each other. Even when they're doing that, okay, Matt Damon's like, no, put this information out, so then we know that it's coming through these people. Yeah. And then Leo's character's like, nah, this information, that's a trap. We're not gonna do that. Like we're moving forward with this. It's just the back and forth.
Yeah.
Was really, really good throughout the film.
I would go so far as to say that, as for me, I think that this is, I would say it's almost Leonardo DiCaprio's second best acting that I've personally seen him in. I think it's the only thing I think that would top it would be Django, because I think he's absolutely incredible in that, and I think this is like his other best. I I love everything he does in this movie.
It's tough for me though to call this a Leonardo DiCaprio.
I don't think it is. I'm saying he's just like it's. I'm not saying.
I mean,
the movie
he's
as a
great
whole,
in the
no.
movie, but yeah, I do definitely wouldn't say this is a Leo movie because Matt Damon's character serves much more of a main character role.
I mean,
even Nicholson over.
I was gonna say you almost divvy it up. I don't want to say all equally, but there's so many chunks going to like so many characters.
I would say it's like 30% Matt Damon and then like 25, 25, 25,
Yeah,
something between the rest of the cast, right?
So you all didn't like the ending? You all thought it was too much?
It's not that I don't like it. I think it's fine, but the way it's, pun intended, executed is just like I couldn't help but to laugh. Like I really couldn't, and I'm like I shouldn't be laughing at this. Like this is not the intended reaction. I'm sure
it's a good pun.
I loved the ending on the first watch.
Before you watch that skit,
I know, and I'm not gonna fault this
because it's just like Shutter Island. Like you didn't want to pick Shutter Island. It's like I know the ending, but like.
The best thing about this movie, one of the best things, is its shock factor. That ending serves its purpose. It is up there on some of the best endings. The problem is, if you just watch this movie a year prior, then you see it again, you're like, okay, so I can actually pick this movie apart a little bit. I already know what's going to happen at the end, and I can focus on all of these awful Boston accents.
Yep.
Thank you.
And Mark Wahlberg's genuine Boston accent.
No, not just him. Matt Damon had a bad one.
Yeah,
Leonardo DiCaprio. I don't know if he was from Boston technically, but he had to acquire one.
Yeah, which kind of serves the character role
because he's Jersey or whatever.
Right.
Yeah, in the beginning they do play a little bit on the idea that he's.
But you have an accent, don't you? You have two accents. You went home and did this on the weekends.
But taking nothing away from the ending, taking nothing away from the movie,
yeah.
The ending is perfect on the first watch. That's what I wanted to see about you guys.
Yeah, the ending is good, but because that Shia LaBeouf, darn it, that skit exists, that's all I thought throughout it, and I'm like,
well, I've not seen that.
We'll show it to you later.
We're gonna watch it off screen after.
You gotta divorce the two, like.
So it doesn't take. It doesn't.
You
make
will
this,
see what we mean.
Here's my thing. I don't think it's a bad ending because the skin, like, it keeps bringing me back to the scene, but it adds that comedic sense to it again, and that's the problem.
Well, that's the thing, like you said with Mark Wahlberg, like you couldn't like divorce.
Yeah,
like, other guys.
He has this very one. Like I felt that comedic tone, like he was bleeding that movie into this movie, and that I mean, it's just that's where my brain goes with it.
Well,
it affected the tone, man. Hey, I didn't sign up for my brain to work that way. That's just how it works. Like
I was born with it.
Yeah. So
that hurts my brain.
Anyway,
so should we move into the next segment?
Yeah, let's definitely move into the next segment. Next segment is called Thin, Thick, Perfectly Fit. In this segment, we sit here and say, hey, this movie, Caesar, I'm going to need you to stop being such a handsome dog off screen. You're distracting me.
He's directing us.
Yes, he is. So, in this segment, thick movie, it's a fat movie. It goes on for too long. We'd cut, if we're editors, we're cutting stuff up. If it's a thin movie, we're maybe adding some stuff on. We kind of wish we had more from this character or this scenes. Perfectly fit. Runtime matches exactly how long a movie fits. Doesn't feel like it overstates its welcome. Nathan, lead the way.
For me, I'd say it's pretty fit. So I will say at 2 points I was checking how much longer the movie was, but part of that was just me also checking to see like how much more time is there for this to play out.
To wind
because there is a lot going on.
Feels like these threads are closing up real soon, and we're like,
and then look, it's like, oh, there's still an hour to go.
Yeah.
Oh man, there's so much more that's gonna happen, I guess.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I can't think of what exactly I would cut. So I will just call it fit, even though I do think it is a little long. So that's where I am with it.
I'm gonna edge on the caution and say that it's not full on fat, but I would say it's a little chubby. There's a couple of scenes that just kind of feel like, well, we need to remind everybody that Jack Nicholson's a boss. So like, there's the one where he's at the theater with like the two girls, and he's like, "Here's all the cocaine." Like he's just having those moments, and I was just like, does the movie need this? I remember it was my very first thought on that one.
Yeah.
I wouldn't necessarily cut the female therapist stuff, but maybe just shorten it up a little bit. Like, again, I like what she does with her relationship
you
between
lose all your
Leo
eye
and that.
candy if you do that.
Yeah. Like, listen, I don't cut all of it, but yeah, it's just shorten some stuff up here and there. Overall, there's not a lot of stuff I take away from this movie, though. But there are a couple of scenes where it just felt like Jack Nicholson embellishing himself, and I get it, that's part of the character, but it was distracting for me from the movie. So, I trim up a little bit. It's a little chubby. It's not bad though.
I'm going perfectly fit. The only, like, I hate to throw on the caveat that they have too, but I was going to say that when I was watching the movie, is I just thought that the scene with Jack Nicholson at the opera was just a little bit much.
Yeah.
I would cut just that scene. Like, that does not need to be in there. Just that, like, little 5-minute scene just does not to be in there. But besides that, it's perfectly fit. I love everything about the movie.
I think this movie is very fit as well. I don't. While it is kind of long, I did not sit there and like look at the bar, you know, at all. Really, I went with the punches, and you know, Jack Nicholson, not my favorite. I can't get on board with him, but he didn't have an excessive amount of scenes in this movie. I didn't think, maybe a couple of those parts, but that was just to show that he was a kingpin and he ran Brooklyn or Boston or whatever it was. It wasn't Brooklyn.
Somewhere up there.
Yeah, it was definitely Boston.
One of the B name words in the Northeast.
But yeah, just I don't know, 2 hours 20 minutes. It wasn't
2 hours 30.
30. It really didn't feel like that to me.
It was like 2:15.
Yeah.
Around I don't know. On Netflix, it's 2:31 is like the full one, but that's credits included. So
Yeah.
Cool. Well, without further ado, guys, let's get into scores then.
Okay.
Nathan, I'm looking at Mason, but I'm saying Nathan
Yeah.
just to make sure Mason's paying attention. Lead the way, my friend.
I think this movie's really good. It's a little longer than what I would have liked to spend watching it, but it has a lot of good tension. I thought the ending it did surprise me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I figured this was about to wrap nicely in a neat little bow with Leo just having everything that he wanted.
Day.
Like, you feel like he deserves it, and then it just gets snatched from him.
Mm-hmm.
So I like that. And I mean, the movie being called The Departed probably should have foreshadowed the fact that
everybody's gonna die,
and they beat that into the ground.
Oh, they do mention Departed
in the movie. Yeah,
yes.
All
they
the time.
do. So overall, pretty solid movie.
That was the dog.
Yeah, we're good.
Well, yeah, pretty solid movie.
Yeah.
And I would go with a 7.5.
I was looking at it ahead of time. Yeah, if you want to go ahead and shape that up while Caesar
ran through the tripod, and his tail
just mollywopped
knocked
everything
the tripod
around. Yeah, being a real director
I'll
dog
let you
today.
out in just a second.
Gosh, Caesar.
Are you wanting to just see everybody?
So, anyway.
He won't come up.
Strangely enough, I think this movie is an 8 for me. I know I spent a lot of time on the review kind of like putting the knocks on it. Every other scene with Nicolas Cage, man, that would be a much different movie.
Can I sign up for that?
I know, I would watch that. No, every scene with Jack Nicholson and everyone that wasn't him being too embellishing extra, I think he nails that tone perfect. Like the opening scene, I think he does great, and then the one where he's a lot more calm, very stereotypical boss, and like he just lives by presence. They didn't have to show on like the first scene does all the showing I need to see for it. Any other time it just felt extra. But those first couple times, I think it's subtle and good enough that his performance is fine. And he plays this very weird pseudo-dad thing on that one. Leo and Matt Damon's performances are great throughout the whole film, though. Like, you're really in here, and anytime they're doing their cat and mouse stuff, I was really entertained. It goes on slightly longer than what I'd want, but even at that runtime, I never felt like I was looking at the clock and waiting for it to dial down and being like, okay, is this done yet? I was entertained throughout the whole time, even at the end, where the ending isn't the feeling I was hoping to get from this movie, but it was still a positive feeling. Like, I didn't hate it and I didn't dislike it. It was a fun ride, but I wish that it was a more serious tone for how it came to me. I
would almost like to see like who hated the ending.
Right.
Like, anyone out there, let us know in the comments if you actually hated it, because like that's not a good ending for everyone.
No, definitely not. That ending's gonna rub people some wrong way.
Yeah.
Like, rub the wrong way.
And that's why I was curious to see how you guys felt about it, because like it's essentially no one gets out.
Yeah, it didn't bother me. I had fun with it, but having fun with it is not what I said at the beginning of this film.
Yeah.
This is how this ending's gonna go for me.
Yeah.
So, that's just my journey.
I love the ending of this movie. I think it was perfect. I think it's something that not many movies have done, if any, have done before, where they basically kill like the entire cast, but I think they do it in such a
tasteful,
tasteful, I guess, way. Just like, because like they kill the guy who you're rooting for, and then kill those people around him. Then like you're like, oh, he got away. Like he's gonna get away with this, and then wind up killing him in the end. I love that. I remember the way I even watched this movie was back like in high school. I was dating a girl, and she had me watch this. I was like you're not expecting anything much from a high school girlfriend, like showing you a movie, and then we watched this movie. And I was completely blown away.
Part of the mob.
I
Yeah.
don't know.
Yeah.
Weird flex,
Lord.
lady. Like,
Don't know how she found it, but I've loved this movie ever since. I love all the acting. I mean, like I said, Leo, I think it's his second best for me acting role. I would put Wolf of Wall Street up there, but I think that's just too over the top. I think it's kind of like The Revenant, where he's just trying too hard.
yeah.
And I didn't even mention some of my favorite scenes. Like, I loved how they like juxtaposed like Matt Damon and Leonardo DiCaprio when like Leo's having like really hard times and he's like popping pills and stuff, and Matt Damon's just like walking around the office like doing finger guns to everybody. Like,
Why is he
What's
Tobey
up,
Maguire
Johnny?
in Spider-Man 3? Like,
pretty much like
Yeah.
Then took him over.
and he
Right.
just like it just shows like how like Leo's like getting like doing the good thing, but he's getting destroyed for it. And Matt Damon's like being super bad, but like gets away with everything and just has this high life. And then definitely my favorite scene of the movie, nothing like too crazy, was when they both were on the phone with each other. And I know it's like been parodied and stuff a ton now, but like when they're just on the phone with each other and just like know that the other person knows, and they're just sitting on the line and don't say anything.
Yeah, silence on there.
Kind of don't like that they like turn that around like 5 seconds later when Leo calls him, like,
Yeah.
and then they
yeah,
start
just
talking.
gonna, you know what? Why not? Yeah.
I got nothing else to lose.
And I'm this close. I'm this close.
Oh,
That
goodness.
close.
Wow.
But I'm not. I'm at a 9.5. I was thinking this the whole
whoa.
movie. I was like at 9, and then like I was thinking like between 9 and 9.5. I was in that nebula, so like I didn't know which one to go with, and I was super satisfied at the end of the movie. Couldn't ask for more. I don't know, can't push it to that 10, but I very much like this movie. So not 9.5 for me.
Yeah, so this movie, like I said, I watched it last year. It was great. I enjoyed every minute of it. I haven't watched it again. I was able to look at it a little bit deeper. Really no qualms. I couldn't remember what got Matt Damon figured out. And
The envelope.
yeah, that stupid fucking envelope that was sticking out a fraction. I thought that was a little bit like silly.
Really?
They had
That
covered their
envelope was
tracks.
so important.
Oh, it absolutely
Like
was.
Jack Nicholson gave it to him in that porno
But
theater, and then
I'm
they had
not
that chase
saying-
scene.
But for Matt Damon's character to have that just on his desk at
Yeah,
work,
that
just
was
in the open,
like,
yeah.
I get it. You have to have a you know.
You gotta
There
have
has
your
to be
MacGuffin
something.
There
kind
has
of
to
thing
be
that brings it
something.
up.
He's just gonna slip up somewhere.
He's got to slip up, but I just it had to be that stupid envelope, but that's okay. Did not hold it against it. This movie's an 8 for me. I do think that if you hadn't watched it, you know what? If you guys are already in too deep, you've already seen it hopefully by now. And if you haven't, we've already told you everything about it.
Yeah.
But for people who haven't seen it, I think it's awesome. I think it's so good. It's a wild ride.
Still
Plays
recommend
that
it.
song a couple times, which gets you just pumped for no
Yeah,
reason.
Boston, yeah!
Just have the volume remote handy and
Yeah.
just get ready.
At
to
2 parts of this
down.
movie, your
Yeah.
speakers are gonna get wrecked.
Yeah, this movie's great.
Speakers hate this movie.
I really do.
And I had this on earbuds too at work. I was like, oh god,
Man.
yeah.
Just jumped.
Rip your
throw
ears
it
off,
across the
man.
table.
Good game on that one.
Yeah, I think Leonardo, for this to be his month and that we're picking, I think he did a great job.
Yeah.
This is young Leo. This is after Titanic.
Matt Damon hasn't aged one bit, making you think about
No.
that compared to how Leo looks in this movie,
Yes.
and you're like, Matt Damon doesn't look any different.
Yeah.
I don't think Leo looks too.
He does.
Leo
he looks
looks-
young.
Leo looks younger.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
but
aged like wine.
yeah, I mean Leo's still
Yeah.
aging great, whatever. But
But yeah,
Yeah.
that's it.
He doesn't look
That's-
as young as he did in Eating Gilbert Grape, or What's Eating
That's-
Gilbert Grape.
Yeah.
Because
Oh,
he's
yeah.
like 10.
Yeah.
well, that's the joke there, Price.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's our review. That's it. Bye. No, I'm just kidding. What are we talking about next week, guys?
Nathan's gonna tell
Well,
us.
speaking of What's Eating Gilbert Grape,
Oh, please.
we're not doing that. Oh man, are we not?
Doesn't even work. Get that butt out of here. What are we watching, Nate?
We are gonna watch Gangs of New York.
Gangs of New York! You want to see Leo in a gang movie? You get 2 weeks
Yeah.
of gang movies!
and by the same director.
God!
Yeah,
Gosh,
that's true.
this is a long movie.
We'll see. We'll see how this one shakes out. Is it better? It's longer. That's
It
usually
is
a bad
longer.
thing.
Longer does not
That
always
usually doesn't work out well.
Usually
me.
for this guy.
But I'm hopeful. I like it. I've seen it twice.
Well, Nathan likes
never
it.
seen it.
Never seen it.
Both of us have seen it.
I haven't seen it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, anyway, see how me and Mason feel about it by the time it's all said and done, and I guess see how they feel about rewatching the film. We'll see y'all next week. Have a good one. Bye! No plugs.
No plugs.
Not a single plug.
0 plugs for heads.
Well, did that go as you expected, Price?